Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bottom Line with Roni and Byron. We have some news to get to you today, and we're going to start with the sale of Hope School in Jackson County.
For national news, we'll talk about two men that were charged in the deaths of 53 migrants in Texas.
And then we'll switch to sports and discuss the Brittney Griner case.
And then we'll talk about, for entertainment, R. Kelly has been convicted and sentenced to 30 years.
Then we'll switch to our relationship tea topic and discuss how do parenting skills at home transfer into the classroom. So Byron, we're going to get started and we're going to discuss the sale of Hope School. As everyone knows, Hope School will be moving to Old Riverside, and that's because, Riverside kids moved to the K-8 school, Mariana K-8. So in Jackson County, they're discussing the sale of the Hope School property. And there's a meeting that will take place on Monday, June 27th at the Jackson County School District, and it's going to start at 4:30 p.m. And Byron, with that, they'll discuss the two bids that have come in for the sale of the property.
So that's interesting. I've had some ideas myself, but to see, who's going to actually bid up for it, that'd be cool. I know, I'm big on a aviation program. I'm old aviator, air traffic controller myself. I'm big on that because if you notice, the FAA and all around is pretty short on both pilots and air traffic controllers. And we're an hour away from the home of Army Aviation, so it would be, it'd be cool to see things come about, and we've got that airport that's just sitting waiting to be used. So I thought in Mariana that I'm speaking of, so it would be cool, to see if something like that could happen. That's just a thought of mine going out there, but
that's a good thought actually. But we don't know. I did reach out to Superintendent Steve Benton. And it was kind of a late notice, but I was trying to get some more information. So once I get that from him, I will let everyone know if it's before Monday. But Monday, June 27th is the meeting at 4:30 p.m. If you're interested to see how the bids came in and who actually put in for the school property. So there are two that have come in. So that will be discussed on Monday. So feel free to attend that meeting at the Jackson County School Board, and they are actually going to have a link to the meeting's agenda on the Jackson County School Board website, which is www.jcsb.org. So make sure everybody knows that if you're interested in that, you can also give them a call at 850-482-1200 for more information. So we'll keep you abreast of what's going on there. And then, Byron, I'm going to move on to remind everybody about the new law that came into effect on July 1st. The main one that I want everybody to understand and to realize and to make sure you're aware of, if you're playing your music too loud, you can get a ticket and fine up to $114. So that is the threshold. So if you're playing your music and you can hear it more than 25 feet away from your car, then you're going to get a ticket. So make sure if you have a young person in your family, Byron, make sure you tell them to turn it down.
That $114 is coming your way, Kat. Yeah. Loud music got to come down. And like you had said before, this is nothing new. It was in effect in the past. So I've got hit with some loud music tickets in the past. So yeah. Turn it down.
Turn your music down. Now, this does not apply to like your horn or anything like that. If you're honking somebody, that's not it. But it definitely applies to your stereo or whatever sound system you have in your car. So be sure to do what, Byron?
Turn the music down. Turn it down.
No matter what kind of music it is, you need to turn it.
Yeah, gospel ain't gonna work.
Turn it down. Exactly. All right, and I'm gonna move on to I'll call this some happenings, just kind of let everybody know what's happening in and around Jackson County. So first I want to discuss Gilmore Academy. The JCTS Youth Department Summer Camp Program will be at the Old Mariana Middle School campus located on Penn Street, which is actually South Street off of Penn Street, which is 4144 South Street in Marietta. The camp, Byron believes, it begins on July the 12th, and it runs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And it goes through July 28th. And the camp is from 1 to 5 p.m. each of those days. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, starting July the 12th, and it goes to through July the 28th, and it starts at 1 to 5 p.m. So you can register for the camp starting on July 2nd and July the 9th from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. At that facility. And the camps are for the ages from 8 to 14 years old. So be sure to reach out to the operations director, Roger Clay, at 850-259-9215. That's 850-259-9125 to get more information about registering, Byron. They're also going to have that Academy's Gym open on Wednesdays and Thursdays in the afternoons from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. During those camp weeks. So that's another window for people to attend or actually be at the property. So again, call Roger Clay, Director of Operations, 850-259-9215. And then I want to go ahead and move on to what we have going on for the holiday. Everybody knows it's 4th of July coming up on Monday. So there's a lot of activities going on. Marietta Main Street have their event going on Sunday. And that is going to be at the Mirror Complex. Byron, they have, country music stars going to be there, which is like Andy Griggs and Brian White. That concert starts at 7, but everything else I think starts at 5. So, and they're going to have some local talent there. They'll have food vendors and everything there. And the fireworks begins at 8:45. So that's at, the Mirror Complex. So make sure everybody knows that. That's the Marietta's 12th annual Independence Day celebration. Are you going to that, Byron?
I'm going to try to make it.
Okay. That's Sunday. And also the city of Jacob is having their Freedom Fest. That starts at 4 on Sunday. That goes from 4 to 10. They will also have fireworks. That will be at the Jacob City's Veterans Memorial Day Park, located at, it's on Highway 162 in the city of Jacob. So they're going to have, vendors, entertainment, DJ Diamond D is supposed to be there. So that's also going on Sunday evening. Even Dalewood is having something, Byron. They're having fireworks too on Sunday.
Yeah, that's right around the corner, man. Marietta might not see me, doggone.
Their fireworks is at 8:30 on Sunday, 8:30. And that address is going to be at the Dalewood Baptist Church, 6512 Blue Springs Road. So if you're interested in fireworks, you have 3 choices right there. Okay. And then I'm going to, move away from that and just kind of I see there's already a school giveaway, backpack giveaway, and that's going to be held on Saturday, which is next week, July the 9th. That's at 9 a.m. That's also in Dalewood at the same location as the fireworks, Dalewood Baptist Church. And they're having back to school giveaway, and that's going to be at 9 o'clock on July the 9th. So make sure you check that out as well. And then, Byron, I'll go ahead and remind people that your kid does not have to be hungry. They're giving away food. So there's a summer food feeding program. You knew about that, right? We talked about that before. Yeah, it's Monday through Thursday, and this goes up into July the 28th. And so there's several locations, Marietta K-8, Marietta High School, and a couple of the preschools, like along the way, and along the way 1 and 2, and some other ones. So be sure to contact the school district if you want to make sure that you can get, your kid can get some of the food that's being given out, a part of the summer feeding program. So I want to talk about that. And I want to make sure everybody knows that Total Body by Roni Private Fitness and Wellness Studio is open. Yes. It is full effect, full swing. We are happy that we're finally here, and make sure you check it out. Give us a call at 850-718-6252. That's 850-718-6252. And while I'm giving that number out, I want to make sure people know that our local and state news for Bottom Line and Running Byron is brought to you by Brightway Insurance. Brightway Insurance is located in Marietta on the Caledonia Street. So make sure you give them a call and tell TD and his staff that you are interested in any of the insurance, products that they have that may help you. So make sure you give them a call. Again, Byron, we're so happy to have Total Body by Roni Private Fitness and Wellness Studio. You can come in, get your workout on, and then have some relaxation afterwards, Byron.
Amazing facility.
Thank you. But everybody is welcome to take a tour whenever they can. Again, I want to make sure everybody understands that for all your insurance needs, make sure you visit TD and his staff, TD Horn at Brightway Insurance. They're located in Marianna, so you can give them a call at 850-633-3460. Again, that number is 850-633-3460. And that's all the local and state news that I have. What do you have for national news, Byron?
And so for national news, before I kick it off, I want to talk about People's Funeral Home. Because we care, we're here when you need us. Long Granbury Funeral Services Incorporated, doing business as People's Funeral Home, Marianna and Battle Mortuary, Panama City, offers services that is within the reach of all. Their caring staff is available 24/7 or when the need arises. And the services are designed to commemorate the life being remembered at a price that is suitable for all. So please give Cephas and Gwen a call at 850-482-2233. Again, that's 850-482-2233. Or simply stop by for more information. It's People's Funeral Home. So my first story, I'm going to talk about, there were two men charged in the death of 53 migrants in Texas. So basically, you had a immigrant smuggling situation where you had 53 people, as was 60 total, in the back of a tractor trailer. And these people were left abandoned. And pretty much most of the people died of heat exhaustion, heat stroke. Prosecutors have charged two more people in the connection to the deaths of dozens of these migrants who, once again, were left abandoned. This was earlier this week. It was happened in San Antonio, on the side of a San Antonio road. Homero Zamorano Jr., 45, has been charged with one count of alien smuggling, resulting in death, while Christian Martinez, 28, has been charged with one count of conspiracy to transport illegal aliens, resulting in death. The Justice Department put out this past Wednesday. If convicted, they would face the death penalty. These charges were laid after authorities on Monday found that tractor trailer abandoned, and it led to them finding out that the 48 people that were found dead inside and around this sweltering vehicle, with another 16 found suffering from heat stroke and exhaustion. That death toll has climbed to 53, with 5 of the victims dying at the hospital. So it's a sad case, and to see that cases like this are not new. This is something that's kind of on the rise. The arrests and charges follow those brought against Mexican citizens Juan Claudio de Luna Mendez, 23, and Juan Francisco de Luna Bilbao, 48, earlier this week.
That's sad.
Yeah. So you got 4 total, and it's a mess. I mean, it's just sad to see that many people, and just imagine being stuck in the back of that big Connex, that trail, and not being able to get out. I mean, if they want to flee, I mean, at least they could have did was open up the back of the door and then left.
Got some air.
Yeah, I mean, let them run and figure it out on their own, but just to leave them trapped back there like that was.
I wonder why do you think they did that? Like, why do you think they did it the way they did it?
I have no, like, and more details are to come, but only thing I can think of was that they would, thinking they were going to get caught and took our run, but I believe they would have caught them if the police was that close. So why would you, like I said, why would you leave them locked in like that? They could at least, just let them know you're on your own and took off if they were scared to get caught by authorities.
Yeah.
It's a sad case, but yeah, hopefully, legal process got to go through, but hopefully some solid convictions come out of that. But in my next story, the Fed has been clear, but the economy still isn't ready for the big rate hikes. This is coming from CNBC. Wells Fargo CEO is basically making this statement. Wells Fargo CEO Charles Scarf said at a Aspen Ideas Festival on this past Wednesday that he expects to see the Federal Reserve continue with more significant rate hikes. But he's basically laying it out by saying that, even though the Fed is going to raise these hikes, it doesn't mean that it's the right move. He said, I wouldn't be on a number, but I would bet on more significant rate hikes. Adding that he considers 50 and 75 basis points hikes to be significant themselves. Is it going to be more than that? Maybe, but it would require some change in the data. And this goes back to an old point that I made. No matter what these people are saying, nobody knows what's going to happen at the end of this or what's going to result of. One thing that I'm noticing, and it's just me, Byron Dickens, simple guy, it's just me looking at it from my standpoint. Just trying to keep it simple, keep it simple, stupid. That's me. If you look at where the nation was, where the economy was prior to, there was a lot of work needed to be done regardless prior to the pandemic. If we look at just Jackson County in general, we've got people, and the pandemic really kind of opened folks' eyes, because if you getting one of those stimulus checks, that let you know that you need help. You may not be doing as good as you thought you were. And now that things are kind of getting back, people are now coming back out and getting back to a little bit of normalcy. You'll see a boost. Yeah, you'll see people come out and start spending money and things get back, but that don't mean that it's time to jack everything up. And now you've got the influx of gas prices, high gas prices and things like that going on. So, it really looks like, that what was that 2006, 2007, 2000, at that time, that recession is going to come back around, because that's going to be the only thing that fix it. I may be wrong, but
Byron, I have noticed a little decline in gas prices, like maybe a few cents, 10 cents. Yep. It's like right now it was $4.44 or something like that at Walmart.
The president, he already like passed one of those executive orders where they would the federal government would pull back on the federal tax, so that'll knock it down a few cents. And then now, not to mention, he did go ahead and open up the country's reserve to get those oil reserves back open, but that'll take time. So we won't, they won't expect us to see that drop to happen to some round in the fall. Maybe August, October, but at the earliest, they're expecting October for us to notice those gas prices to make a, in the meantime, between time, we just gonna have to fight it out, and the president is blaming Russia for it, although 7% of the oil that we get that's kind of fluctuating out there in the global market comes from Russia. So I don't know, but hopefully things will take a positive turn. They're still optimistic, Scarf is, but he's saying that we're going into this stronger than ever. So with the government, with all the entities working together to try to make it happen, make something good happen, is got to. But like I say, don't nobody know what's gonna happen out of this. This is the last flu pandemic kind of occurred. It occurred close around the Great Depression. So that's some things to look at.
Yeah, like they kind of coincide.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. They can't tell you what's that's just positive projections to kind of get people back going, but nobody knows what's going to happen at the end of this. And I dare say that it may change the whole culture of the economy. Something different may come out of this that never was, but it's definitely going to be something that nobody can really project. They just trying the best they can. In my last story, Pete Buttigieg, Transportation Secretary, is launching a $1 billion pilot to build racial equity in roads. This happened this past Thursday. It's the first of its kind. It's a pilot program aimed at helping reconnect cities and neighborhoods racially segregated or divided by road projects. It was pledging to a wide-ranging help to dozens of these communities despite the program's limited dollars. This is under the Reconnecting Communities program. Cities and states can now apply for federal aid over 5 years to rectify harm caused by roadways that were built primarily through lower income Black communities after the 1950s creation of the interstate highway system. So they also call this red line districting. So it's basically back when in the 50s, highways, freeways, interstates were built, and this is not conjecture. This is factual. It's actually happening, and it's good that now is being at least trying the wrong is trying to be righted. But these freeways, these highways, these interstates were built gutted right in the middle of a lot of thriving Black communities all across the nation. So it's interesting to see, it would be even in our little area to see what this area was like in the 50s and how did the interstate and some of these highways affect the Black communities here. I don't know if these studies have been conducted, but the opportunities to have done so are going to be available. So these grants being made available under President Joe Biden's bipartisan infrastructure law are considerably less than the $20 billion the Democratic president originally envisioned. Advocacy groups say the money isn't nearly enough to have a major impact on capital construction for the more than 50 citizen-led efforts nationwide, but they're going to keep trying. So Florida is one of the states that are trying to get this money. Although there's a little opposition there, but hopefully it can start something bigger and get something going. But that's cool to see that this $1 billion pilot is trying to go in that direction for righting those wrongs, and looks to be that they're trying to use those dollars to build access to jobs, sidewalks, bringing in businesses in those communities that generally weren't there and left because of result of those freeways and things like that being built in those communities. So yeah.
Let me interject. Speaking of pilots, there's a pilot shortage. I think we may have talked about this before, but a lot of flights have been canceled. Did you know that?
Yeah. It was interesting because one gentleman I saw, he had an interesting take on it. And it was like he was basically saying, if you can't, because you limited on air traffic controllers and you're limited on pilots, why book these flights when you can't make them? And right. That's because that's and I was like, it makes a lot of sense, but from a business standpoint, you ask them to turn away money, not gonna do it. They'll take the money and then
I mean don't you have if there's your
flight? And here's another thing for me. I'm simple, I'm saying? Like if I'm somewhere, I guess because I am a controller and I understand that if a flight gets canceled because of weather, I definitely don't want to be up there when it's lightning, because I know. But when they reschedule flights, a lot of folks want to get a different flight that day. They want to get it like within the next hour and still get what they want to get. And it's not gonna be like this. They'll put you up in a room. They'll do all that. They'll pay for transportation to get there and everything. And you'll have get a flight the next day. But a lot of folks get ticked and they'd rather just stay in the airport. And that's one. But yeah, I'm simple. As long as you make sure I get home, I'm good. And you're gonna because this happened to me a couple of times, and I didn't make a fuss, but I've seen people that throw a fit, if they couldn't get to where they trying to get that day, and there's no job, there's nobody that wouldn't understand, hey, my flight got canceled. I won't make it back till tomorrow, Yeah,
I mean, it's a common theme. So
yeah,
let me ask you this. What do you think about this? So the airline called SkyWest, I don't know if you're familiar, it's a small airline, but it's called SkyWest Charter. I think that's kind of like the real name. But what they're doing, they've asked to reduce the number of seats. They've asked the Department of Transportation to modify their jet to only hold 30 passengers, therefore allowing pilots with lower level certifications to operate the aircraft.
No, nah. No, see.
Yeah, so remember that SkyWest, that's what they're asking the U.S. Department of Transportation to allow them to modify their aircrafts to only carry 30 passengers so that they can have pilots with lower level certifications. I don't think I'll be on their flight, right?
Yeah. Nah, I need that. I need a top notch because yeah. But I mean, flying, I mean, getting the pop, but when you souls on board at that point, you flying just yourself around. That's one thing, but
I don't care if it's two people, you still don't need a lower level.
Don't lower the standard.
No, don't lower it, but that's what they're doing. I guess because we're such in a shortage, and
that's not.
But you know what? Honestly, how do we know that some of the bigger airlines are not hiring pilots with less certifications? How will we know? Like when you book your flight, do you ask that question? Is a pilot, how many years of experience does he have? We don't ask those questions.
Well, so I do know as far as when you want to be a commercial pilot, their program is 4 years. So I mean, if that does you any your heart a little ease, you know what I'm saying? But and that's just that's starting out. So I mean, because I being in the military, I got a lot of Joes and friends that commanders that pilots, civilian pilots, and for airlines that had their startup in the military, and it's a healthy process for those airlines like Southwest and Delta. But now, like you say, it's just like with a doctor. You don't know if they pass with A's or if they barely got by with a C. You don't know. all you know is they're a pilot, so that's one of those things that have you now. You making me where I don't want to fly now.
I'm just saying. That's all. I'm just saying. Just have to trust God. That's all I know. So,
but yeah, and that's why I go back. It'll be perfect to develop develop a aviation or aeronautics program, and even a bridge program for kids in school. And then something, I mean, Chipotle, it would be great, the mirror that, and it would change the whole area if that opportunity, because I dealt with it so much. It's hard for me from a recruiting standpoint and for a mission standpoint. It was hard to keep, a 22-year-old, a 21-year-old that now has the ability to go and make $100,000 a year. Hard to keep them, they're gone. So the turnover rate, once you get them trained up and you get them, certified, and they've got, the experience, and then boom, they're gone. And I understand it. So let that same thing benefit, the kids in this area.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of cool. But that'd be kind of cool. Okay. All right, that's all you got?
Yeah, so that's it for me. Before I leave, I want to mention People's Funeral Home again. Because we care, we're here when you need us. Long Granbury Funeral Services Incorporated, doing business as People's Funeral Home, Mariana and Battle Mortuary, Panama City, offers services that is within the reach of all. Their caring staff is available 24/7 when the need arises. And the services are designed to commemorate the life being remembered at a price that is suitable for all. So please give Cephas and Gwen a call at 850-482-2233. Again, that's 850-482-2233. Or simply stop by for more information. It's People's Funeral Home.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to sports, and we're going to discuss the Brittney Griner situation. So Brittney Griner is being detained in Russia and has been there since February for having, basically when it boils down to like some vapes that had a little marijuana type residue in it. And so she is facing up years. So the trial has started, and but I just kind of want to revisit that because there's several things that have been pointed out along this the last several months about her even being there, as far as people have said if this was Shaq, he'd be home. People are saying big female because she's she has a male appearance. They're just, she's homosexual. they're just saying there's a lot of factors they wonder that have played into her not being released right now. So the way this is working, it seems like, she's facing up to 10 years, Byron, and the way that the trial is set up is kind of weird, because I think it starts now and it can last up to 6 months, or it's just weird how it's not like the US. It's not. And so she has a wife. Um, Her wife is, of course, is very upset. She's actually studying for her bar, and she's finished law school. Her name is Sherelle. And, her only communication with Brittney is via letter. And she did make a point to say that Brittney is hardened, and is very, having a hard time. She's struggling. That's basically what she said. And you can kind of look at some of the photos they released when she went to court. She just, she looks disheveled. So I'm sure, Byron, we can all imagine what they're doing to her. We can imagine what they're saying to her. And it's just it's just not a good situation. It's not. And I really hate that. I really hate that for her.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about the comment? If this was Shaq, he'd be out.
I think people, I think people go a little too far. They don't really understand this particular situation. I know we've seen in the past where people in other countries, but this is not, Saudi Arabia. This is not, well, I want to say Saudi Arabia. This is not the Middle East. This is not a country or a place where we can just go in and establish our dominance from the jump. This is Russia, okay? And that is currently in a war that we are basically playing real close to the edge on how we supporting Ukraine, but everything this is something big that's going on. So I would dare say, I wouldn't say if Shaq still be stuck over there, because it's still another country. He still got to abide by those rules. Yeah. Now, one interesting point that I think I seen Angela Rye make on, I think it was TikTok, Facebook, one of them. But basically, they Russia has a high conviction rate. Basically, anybody that gets charged with something, they get convicted, and they need for that process to go ahead and go through, because right now she's still in limbo, and until she gets that conviction is when the administration and the U.S. can really make something really happen, because then they can say she was wrongfully or convicted or something like that, and whatever deals that need to be made can be made. And it seems like Russia is kind of dragging out that process. So now that the trial is going to actually go on, let's see how long they take that, because a fair, speedy trial, that's our thing. That's our constitution. So we don't, it's that's the thing we got to understand. This is not, a situation where we can just come in and flex the U.S. power and this is Russia. This is another, large, big country that it's going to be some real negotiation that have to happen. So it's going to be a process. And like you said, the conviction for that crime is 10 years. So anything under the 10 years would, in their eyes, would be a win. It wouldn't be so much for us and for Ms. Griner. So I hate it, but let's see. Hopefully, that is what America's looking to do, and that'll speed it up, and we can get on safely home. But it's a shame, and for her to be stuck out there like that. And and you don't know we don't know what psychological games they playing on her.
Right.
What
that's what I'm saying.
You have no control, and at this point, this is really like the only footage we've seen of her, because they having that contact limited, and it's all under their power,
Yeah. But you know what? Somebody wrote an opinion piece in the LA Times, and I thought this was kind of interesting. They pointed out about the U.S. that there's a Afghan native that was released just last week. Last name is Gul. I'm gonna probably mess up the name. Asadullah Haroon Gul. He was released from the US last week, and he had been detained in Guatemala Bay without a trial since 2007, Byron.
See, that's what I'm saying. So, and that's what I'm thinking that Russia they're trying to get somebody back, and they trying to make one of those, we want him. And it might be somebody that might not be somebody they feel like is one of theirs that they want, but it might be somebody that one of theirs that they want to get rid of. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So I think the purpose of that opinion piece was to kind of reflect on
we ain't so.
I mean, if this guy was detained for 15 years without a trial,
mm-hmm. Well, he ain't no citizen, so he's an enemy combatant. Them different rules, you know what I'm saying? So, hey.
Well, the point was just they're trying to say, countries do different tactics, and unfortunately, Brittney is a pawn at this point.
Yeah, I don't even think he would get to be. That's another one, you see, because when you're talking about the Iraq War and Al Qaeda and stuff like that, they're not enemy combatants from the standpoint of the UCMJ. When you're looking at it, I have to be careful about what I'm saying, but basically, what we've always known is us fighting another nation and another military force. Al Qaeda, ISIS, that's a different ball game. So so there's no telling what loopholes kept him there for that long. But well,
that's true. Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, we just want to kind of discuss it and we'll keep an eye on what's going on there as far as with Brittney. But her wife has come out and said she's definitely struggling, and she's terrified, and it's just sad. But the other thing, the WNBA just had their All-Star game, and they've made Brittney a honorary starter for All-Star. They did that, so in honor of her. But anyway, all right, I'm going to switch to some local. When I say local, meaning in Tallahassee, the Florida A&M volleyball team, which is, I don't know if people knew this, but they are the SWAC champions. Byron, did you know that?
I did not, and I'm slipping because I actually wanted to take my girls and all my kids to catch a couple of games as well as softball. I just missed not enough time. I'll tell you. Yeah,
well, they're the SWAC champions. You'll see too. We should have, but they've drafted 3 new players just in the last couple of weeks. Aja Jones from Florida Gulf Coast University. Brooke Watts, she is from Murray State, and another Brooke Hudson from Colorado State. So they added some more strong players to their team. But I thought it was worth mentioning because most people may not have known that FAMU do have a really good volleyball program. And for those that play pro style, the coach for FAMU is also over the program for the pro style. And there's some satellite teams here in Jackson County, specifically Snead Satellite, but they all roll up into his program, and he's the same guy that's the head coach for FAMU. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, just want to bring that out. So, all right, that's all I have for sports. What do you have for entertainment?
So for entertainment, R. Kelly sentenced to 30 years in prison for federal racketeering and sex trafficking charges. So what's the guy, the comedian Bubba Dub? He said 40 years. Well, for R. Kelly got 30 years. 30 years. Disgraced R&B singer. I would dare say, that he's far beyond just a regular singer, man. R. Kelly. That's what's got so many people. I believe what's got so many people torn is, you hard pressed to find any hit music, R&B music from the 90s on into the 2000s that if he hadn't performed it himself, he's written it. So you've got a great, music genius mind that is at the same time, man, I'm saying, this horrific, predator. And it's gonna take we looking for that next music messiah to come around and make people forget about R. Kelly, but Yeah, Wednesday following his conviction last year on those federal racketeering sex trafficking charges, stemming from his efforts over the years, is put him down. So I go back to another comedian, Mike Epps, when he was talking about the Michael Jackson trial, he said all those inmates were just waiting on him practicing the moves. So R. Kelly, they sitting there waiting on you, cat. He coming. But I didn't know he was 55. So to more than 25 years behind bars, that's
a lot. Yeah.
pretty, yeah.
85 when he, is eligible to get out. I mean,
yeah.
He married
I know. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say he married Aaliyah when he was in his 20s and she was 15.
Yeah. And that was another part of it. The 5-week trial that was in Brooklyn included testimony from witnesses who said they were sexually and physically abused by Kelly. The court also heard from people involved with orchestrating the disgraced R&B singer's 1994 marriage to late singer Aaliyah when she was only 15, and he was an adult after she believed she'd gotten pregnant. And then my next story, Outkast Big Boy and his wife Sharlita Patton divorced after 20 years of marriage, which is this is one of those things I can't understand. 20 years in, why quit now? So in their filing, it said there was no reasonable hope of reconciliation between the two. So nothing, they'd already, separated, and they were already living apart. So I guess, they just agreed.
Finalize everything.
Yeah. They did agree to a post-nuptial agreement back in 2016, which they already divided up their assets and debts, and more recently agreed to a confidential settlement to tie up any loose ends. The exes also agreed to keep details of their finances private. So both parties are looking to avoid any mudslinging. They just, wanted to be completely done away with it. And they agreed neither would make threats of injury, maltreating, molesting, harassing, harming, or abusing in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, like I said, it's just sad to see. I hate it to see couples break up like that. But 20 years,
not that long time. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And then my last story, the man who killed allegedly killed Nipsey Hussle was slashed with razors by inmates on his way to court. So the man who was admitted to killing rapper Nipsey Hussle in 2019 was attacked by 2 LA County jail inmates, slashed with a razor on his way to court. That's for this past week. Eric Holder Jr. is his name, 33, lost consciousness. He didn't die, lost consciousness, and needed 3 staples to close a wound in the back of his head after he was jumped in a holding cell while waiting to be taken to court. Jurors arrived in Tuesday to see that for this case, told them proceedings and had been suspended due to an unforeseen medical incident, and that's what happened. So I dare say it ain't gonna, no matter where this cat go, he gonna catch it, so they might as well put him in protective custody. But yeah, especially after everybody has seen the video footage of him actually gunning down Nipsey Hussle. So but that is it for me. And also I wanted to mention the death of Kelly Preston, actress and wife of John Travolta. She died at the age of 57. She was succumbed to battling breast cancer, and the family wanted to keep it secret and try to deal with it internally themselves. But yes, she passed, and it's sad to see, but the relatives representatives stated that choosing to keep her fight quiet, she had been undergoing medical treatment for some time, supported by her closest family and friends. She was a radiant, gorgeous, and kind human being who infused life into everything she came in contact with. Her family asked that everyone respect their privacy during their difficult time. So sad to see her go, and prayers to the Travolta family. But that is it for me for entertainment.
Okay. All right, and we'll switch to our relationship tea topic, and we're going to discuss how do parenting skills reflect on their kid in the classroom? So about where I'm going with this is, you know, we both are parents and we can, we hear the talk of how, you know, certain classrooms are more disruptive, than others. Certain kids are more disruptive than others. But there seems to be a growing culture at, you know, some schools. And it seems like the culture is changing. When I say that, I mean like kids' behavior is not like it used to be, meaning, it can get corrected or, and the correction comes and it's, supported by, the parents at home or parents in conjunction with the teacher and administrations. So now it seems like these days, the kids and they're not acting out like probably when we were in school. When I say acting out, I mean like cursing out the teacher and just
full-fledged like they grown,
like you grow and you're in kindergarten. So there seems to be a culture change, and I'm just trying to figure out how much of that is really driven by the home life. What are your thoughts?
I agree. It's not, and I'm pretty sure some teachers out there is like, oh, let me tell you, but so I don't have that in-depth and knowledge, but I've talked to a few, and it's like you say, you can definitely tell that there's a difference. And I don't, it's like, as a parent, we all want what we didn't have, or people may be holding on to something, in their, school experience or what have you. And so they overdo it. And folks are lazy these days. They rather let, these things, raise their kids versus them and spending actual time, and folks don't have good interpersonal communication skills either. They think that, and getting a meeting with the teacher involves them cussing and fussing and acting out versus sitting down and figuring out what the real problem is, because your child don't act like your child when you ain't around.
You know what? I think these days they do. I don't think kids are changing. Like,
if I got you.
Like what you see is what you get, whether it's at home or back to what you just said about the meeting. You got these parents that are like this.
Yeah, they wide open.
Exactly. So, I'm thinking, I think administration should really have a evaluation of how the communication is coming across from the teachers, because sometimes you got to meet people where they are to get some straightening.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think, if you got, a parent coming in and you already know the history, like when you call them and say, hey, we need to meet, we call and tell you that, Jamal is not doing X, Y, and Z, and you're not answering the phone. Jamal is not feeling good. You're not answering the phone to come pick him up. Jamal needs to be X, Y, and Z, needs to do this homework. You're not, trying to supervise. You're not doing your part. So there's a history there. Then you finally come to a meeting and you're doing this. Yeah, I think the teacher need to be like,
right back. Long as somebody gonna back them up. And that's another one. Like they don't realize them kids talk. They'll
right.
And remind
just like
you
what they see at home.
And
if you got kindergarten saying stuff like what they see at home, whether it's drug related or sex related, then that's a home issue. And then here's another thing the administration need to look at too. When you have a parent come on campus, I'm not saying dropping off, come on campus, there needs to be a certain standard as far as appearance. You don't need parents dropping off with bonnets and sleepers, or coming on campus with bonnets and pajamas. You just don't. So that, we can start there as far as setting the standard. Dropping off is a different story, but you get out the car and you're coming in the office or on the premises
for actual,
you need to look accordingly.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think we can start there, and administration can. You can't regulate what people wear, but you can certainly say, hey, when you come on this campus, you need to look like you're a parent and not like you just rolled out of bed.
And that also instill a in the mindset. Okay, I'm going somewhere important,
Right.
and my decorum gotta be a little different,
Has to
you know.
match where you go.
But
Right.
you know, I've you know, and that's the thing. How you know, and a teacher told me it's because you know one of my loudest kids is just the quiet as a mouse and you know shy in class, and she's like, you know, it's because you're raised right. You know, they know how to act. And I come into it, you know, no matter what grade they're in, when I meet a new teacher, is my kids are this level, you know. I expect this, but I don't want I expect a two-way thing. Let me know up front when they start
Right.
having so
And
that
they're
I can fix, you
respectful
know.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That
but
goes
but
home training.
I
Home
yeah,
training.
I ain't worried about how you know they conduct gonna be right. Their show better be right. But when it
Right.
comes to their performance, you know, hey, let me because I
Right.
can fix them, but let me know ahead.
Right.
I don't want to see a bad report card grade, you know, and that's another one. People will come in and especially when they have those teachers that try to put out
Right.
like, hey, something, you know, and then you want to jump on when it's report card time, like, nah, or when it's the end of the year, you want to act the fuss, or you want to act the fool. No, you should have been putting in that work, you know, from the jump. And that's, I mean, it's a lot. People, it ain't no, you know, it's
It
a
is
lot of work.
babysitting. It's like when
Yeah,
you send your
yeah.
child, to school is a lot more than babysitting. So
Yeah, it is. It's, I mean, you got to do the work, you know, you got to put in the study time and put in it, and with in them kids and they attention spans, you know, short, and you gotta do and stay on them every day.
even when we were in school, like I don't remember my mom having me with homework. I just don't.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, I remember,
I don't
I
remember.
tell you, my
No.
mama happened, Happened. I ain't gonna never forget that word. My mama will help me out by spell a word, and every time I got it wrong, she cracked me upside the head. I said, I got it now. I'm gonna study, and you ain't got to never. I forget this word because
I
I could never get that word right.
having help. And so
But yeah, nah, I really nah.
if you can't help your kid, you know, academically, you can help them in their behavior. You can start there.
Mm-hmm.
If a kid can pay attention in
Mm-hmm.
class, and then more likely they can learn because one, they're not a class clown. Two, they're not disruptive. So
Mm-hmm.
and not that your kid gonna be perfect. Nobody's kid is perfect. Nobody's kid is gonna have proper behavior all the time. They're not. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
saying for the
Mm-hmm.
ones that are really just cutting up, cussing people out, throwing stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and that behavior is common. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that type of behavior in a classroom when it's overwhelming at a school will drive other kids away and your school enrollment will decrease.
Well, here's the thing. This is what I tell mine. It's politics. Everybody says, "Oh, I don't like politics." Politics is in everything.
Yeah.
And in school, this is where a child learns. This is where a kid learns that, okay, how I'm perceived and how I'm viewed by not just my peers, but the other adults and the other teachers directly affects whether or not, you know, what chances I get. If I make a bad grade and I'm going to my teacher for help, well, if I got a good relationship with my teacher, and I not you know teacher's pet, but if I'm if they look at me in high regards, they're gonna give me that chance.
Right.
And I tell mine all the time, whatever goes behind your name, whatever goes beside your name is not because daddy did it for you, it's because you did it. So
Right.
if a teacher says, oh, he a troublemaker, he don't do this or don't never, that's because you did that. I
Their
didn't do it.
own
And
making.
I can't go in there and get them to believe that you're a good kid. You have to earn that respect, and if you don't, then
Right.
it's gonna follow you. Best believe teachers talk just like y'all talk, and you on your way to the next grade, and they already know he coming.
Here we come.
This the one. And
Tell
so
you
you
this one right here.
you,
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying?
Right here.
And yeah, there was a mess now, or or their parents, and you don't want that to follow you, and it's just like with anything. Once you get that tagged on your name, that bad, it's hard to shake it. It's hard to shake it,
Right.
But
So
yeah, it goes to parenting.
I just think we as parents, we need to look at, we got problems in our school system. Some schools have more problems than other, but I think the parents really need to take a truthful look at, well, what am I sending to school?
Mm-hmm.
What
So a
am
lot
I,
of times you don't know. A lot of times, they're not even conscious of it.
right? What am I sending from my home to that school that could be a potential problem?
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to be honest with ourselves and address it, and before the next school year come up. Like I said, especially if you're in a school system where your school is really experiencing some problems, whether it's decline in enrollment, whether it's a low grade as far as academically, whether it's just a mess all the way around. Let's look at what are we sending to that school? What is it that I can do to help change the culture of that school to make it better? We need to look at it that way. So, but again, I think administration needs to give, our teachers a little bit more, especially when you encounter those parents that do that, all that. I think our teachers need to be allowed to get right back with them. Like,
okay. At least have a third party, involved and say, all right, they did,
yeah,
and they had to,
take so much of the they can't do anything. They sitting there, so they
gotta eat it.
They're getting bullied. The teacher getting bullied because you got this irate parent, not discussing the issue intelligently, but doing all that extra. So
remind you, they parents too. They get frustrated too. They got stuff. They got bills. They got family. They got all. And I'm supposed to just let you just dog me out.
Off on me with your body PJs on. No.
Yeah. Over something you supposed to be doing.
Exactly. Over your responsibility. You can't help. He come to me talking this type of language, and he getting it from your home. You don't blame me because the home outweighs what he's learning at school, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I get it both ways. Yeah.
Anyway, all right, Byron, we're gonna wrap this show up. I hope it was an enjoyable show for you. We will be Byron, are we coming back next week? Or are we taking some time off?
We're taking some time.
So we will be back in August. We will not be back the rest of the summer. We're gonna take some time off, and so we'll be back in August, and we'll catch everybody up and get you ready to start back school. That's why I want to have this conversation, so we can just prepare you for the next school year mentally, and just kind of help you. Just everybody just try to do better. Just try to do better. That's all we're asking. So, all right, Byron. So enjoy your summer, and stay safe and stay cool. And we will see you in August. And remember, Byron, do you have anything you want to add before I say my tagline?
Just make sure if you're available, if you got a little time, please come out and check the grand opening of Total Body by Roni. It's a great facility, great place. It would be a disservice to yourself if you don't come and check it out. So please make sure you take the time out. This if you don't get a chance to make the grand opening, please just you're driving by anyways, y'all. You just go and check it out. All right.
Just make call the number 718-6252 and just make your appointment so you can come in and everybody. There's something for everybody inside the studio. So again, all right, we will see you in August. And remember, when you know the truth, you can speak the truth, and the light shines brighter when it shines for two. Have a good evening.